it hurts me now. I know this change will do me good. Wonder where the wind will blow. If you got a clue to let me know. Don't hold back now. Give me a sign. Tell me something really good. Like live your dreams, you know you should. I know this change is gonna do me good. I know this change is gonna do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me good. Everything changes in its own way. I'm feeling better every day. I'm gonna look back at all of this someday. And I'm gonna even though I hurt me I know the things will do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me good.
Aloha. Good evening. This is Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona, with Spiritual Illness Productions on Blog Talk Radio and freeconferencing.com, and now Ustream, establishing and maintaining right relationships for the human body. Aloha, welcome to Aloha Live. Tonight we're talking with Sunil Ahuja in Soul Dance. Is that how you say your name, Sunil?
Yes, that's pretty good.
Aloha and welcome to tonight's show. Just to let you guys know, Soul Dance is attracting and creating fulfilling relationships. In the Soul Dance, you let go of those ideals of how things are supposed to be and experience yourself, your partner, and the relationship as it is in the moment, in absolute love and truth. You discover that actually knowing yourself, your partner, and experiencing what is happening is far more fulfilling than trying to make everything fit into a idealized image that is supposed to make you happy. Soul Dance is a substantive relationship workshop that will enable you to create a level of self-awareness regarding your beliefs about the ideal relationship and help you realize how they are a source of self-defeating frustration. It also enables you to see the masculine and feminine dance in love, recognize that we all have both aspects of consciousness within us and embrace either as the moment demands. It also enables you to understand that no one can complete you and that the law of attraction brings you to people who mirror your beliefs about your defiancies to you so you can release them. And it also enables you to experience and integrate the understanding that the real purpose of relationships is for your soul to evolve and know itself, not for your ego to fulfill its fantasies necessarily. And it also enables you to realize that what you really yearn for is deep connection with the other human beings in spirit, and to be present and real in a way that allows your heart to both authentically touch and be touched. And finally, it also enables you to attract a partner who will play with you at the depth that you are willing to and able to play as well. In 2001, Sunil started to engage in his true passion by founding Integral Transformational Systems, a company offering personal development, training, consulting, and coaching. ITS offers program integrating ancient and knowledge of consciousness with modern methods of accessing that level of being. All its programs and services are designed to expedite the emergence of human consciousness into higher stages of development and to assist individuals in realizing their full potential. In addition to the courses listed above, ITS offers the Soul Dance Workshop, a new possibility in intimate relationships, conscious relationship coaching for couples and singles, and life coaching programs that include deep energy healing that dissolves old emotional and spiritual wounds and programs. For more on Sunil Ahuja, you can go to www.integral-transformation.com. And we're going to come back and talk to Sunil some more. Right now, what I want to do is give a big aloha to all of our underwriters that help make this show happen week to week, month to month, and year to year. And that reminds me, before we do that, I do want to get a big shout out to Monsoon Chinese Bistro and Sushi Restaurant here in Flagstaff. I went over there and talked to them, and they let me sample their menu, and they had some really interesting sushi in there that you can check out. If you want to check them out, you can always go to you can call them at 928-226-8844. 928-226-8844. They're their address is 6 East Aspen Avenue. 6 East Aspen Avenue. It's literally downtown Flagstaff. So if you want a good sushi restaurant to go check out, that would be the place to go to, amongst others here in Flagstaff. So anyhow, I do also want to give a big shout out to all of the underwriters that help make this show happen from week to week, month to month, year to year. Beginning with Maha Dikini Lorraine at www.mahadikini.com. Maha Dikini Lorraine's life has been a personal journey exploring sexuality and spirituality for over 20 years. She's a certified tantric counselor and tantric healer and a certified mind sound teacher. Maha Dikini Lorraine is also a graduate of Margot Anand's year-long Sky Dancing Tantra Facilitator Training Program, and is also a current member of the American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists Club, as well as a charter member of the Association of Sexual Energy Professionals. She regularly attends trainings and conferences to keep current with the latest research and information on sexual education. And then we also have the 90-Day Ascension Journey at www.90dayascensionjourney.com. When you sign up for the 90-Day Ascension Journey, you will be facilitated with defining and redefining your soul through life purpose. You will be assisted with finding out what Ascension means to you. On this journey, you will be provided with tools, techniques, and assistance to empower you to connect and reconnect with yourself, your emotions, and feelings, in your mind, body, and spirit. Through a universal soul-centered process, you will be going through a lifelong transformation that will allow you to move forward with your endeavors and never look back if you dare. And for those of you that are interested in finding out more about this program, I've done a number of journeys with people, and I've also written the book version of this a few months ago. And so you can literally go to Amazon.com and find it there. You got the hard copy there, or the Kindle version as well if you go to Kindle. And then if you go to spiritualimageproductions.com, spiritualimageproductions.com, on the right-hand side you can sign up for the email list, for 6 Divine email list, to keep abreast of everything that's going on with Andrew, Aloha, myself, and I, and Spiritual Image Productions. And if you look there also towards the middle, you'll see a picture of the book, The 90-Day Ascension Journey. You can click on that, and that'll take you up to a page where you can read the introduction in the first chapter and see if you like it. And then if you do, of course, you can order it from there as well. So, anyhow, moving on, we also have MUFON Symposium 2016 at www.mufonsymposium.com. The 2016 MUFON Symposium, UFOs from Oceans to Outer Space, is the 47th Annual International UFO Symposium sponsored by MUFON. This year's event features outstanding UFOs researchers and investigators from all over the world, including Rich Hoffman, Cheryl Acosta, and Bill Schroeder, sharing their insights on UFOs, where they're from, what they are, and what this means to mankind. Join Andrew, Aloha, myself, and I, and other scientifically minded people for a great event in Orlando from the 25th to the 28th of August of this year. And if you happen to be there and see me there, give me a big shout and at least say hi, and that'd be great. So we're back with Sunil all the way out of Scottsdale. You live in Scottsdale, is that correct, Sunil?
That is correct, yes.
And for those of you that are interested in asking questions during the second half of the show, I will be opening this up to Q&A if you're interested. So you and I have met at some of the concert gatherings that you promote in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area, and I've known you for several months now, and so, but even so, I still don't know everything about you. I'm pretty sure. And so, if you can kind of just give us a background, a bio on who Sunil is, where you came from, where you were born, and how you got to where you're at right now. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, sure. So, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. So, I was born in Calcutta, India. I grew up in India. Went to school there. Got a degree in engineering, another one in business and MBA. And then, after working for a few years, decided to find out what life was like here in the United States. So I came to Pittsburgh to Carnegie Mellon University for a second MBA, and worked in Pittsburgh for about 17, lived in Pittsburgh about 17 years. And then my then wife and I got very tired of Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh winters. One nasty winter, we kind of looked at each other and said, "Is there any real reason why we live here?" I couldn't find it. So we started looking at the warmer parts of the United States. So we both loved Scottsdale and the Phoenix area. We had actually honeymooned in Scottsdale and Sedona. So this is where the opportunities arose. So we came here. I continue to work in the corporate world, primarily in technology, for quite a few more years. We came here in 1995 for another 5-6 years. And then after, when the technology market crashed in 2000, 2001, what was it called? The dot something crash, and the post Y2K crash. I decided it was time to do my own thing. So I had been doing my own personal developmental work since 1982. You can see the details on the bio on my website. And in '96, I was licensed to teach a course called Avatar, which I was doing part-time while maintaining my income primarily through the corporate work. Then at this point, I started to write a book, started to extend my Avatar practice, develop my own courses, I've studied, got a coaching certification in developmental coaching, and over the years, gradually launched into my own practice and founded a company that I called Integral Transformation Systems, which offers the Avatar course, the Dance course, other courses I'm working on, as well as developmental coaching and energy coaching.
So let's stop there for a second, Sunil.
Yeah.
Before we go further. First of all, you were born in Calcutta and grew up there. Now, what did you have other brothers and sisters, and what did your parents do there?
Yeah, I have a brother and a sister. My brother lives in San Jose, California. He just had knee replacement surgery a couple of days ago.
Oh wow, yeah.
Just talked to him earlier this afternoon. So anyway, if he does get around to listening to this, I'm wishing him a speedy recovery and relatively pain-free physical therapy. My sister still lives in Calcutta, very close to my mom. There's been a housewife and a bit of a creative businesswoman. She used to design her own line of clothes and market them in Calcutta and in Australia. But she's 91 now and she's going strong. My father was a businessman. He was part of a family-owned export-import agency. He split off into the same kind of work on his own. He died a long time ago. He passed away in 1985.
Oh, got it. And your mother, what did she do?
She was a housewife for the most part.
Home engineer?
Quite a few years. Home engineer, but for quite a few years she had her own business where she designed and manufactured clothes. We used to have 4 tailors sitting in our front hall. She sold them through the local cottage emporium and other outlets, and exported them to retail store in Australia.
Oh wow!
Come down and the lady came down one point and ordered a bunch of clothes.
Nice. So that kept you pretty busy, and that kept you some extra and additional income in your family. So you were married before you came to the States. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct.
Oh, it's not.
I was married to an American lady from Massachusetts.
Oh, really?
And yeah, we were married for 14 years, together for 17. We split up in 2005.
Okay. So now, I guess what I'm trying to get to is, you were an engineer before you left India. Is that correct? You went to college and you studied engineering there. Is that correct?
I studied engineering and business, and I worked for 4 years in actually export sales, export marketing.
Got it.
So my MBA was in marketing and something called operations research, which is the application of quantitative methods to business. But anyway, I worked in marketing after graduation.
Got it. And then you moved to the States afterward. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So now I'm trying to figure out at which point did you decide I want to work with Contra. I want to work with human development, and then why you made that decision.
Right. Okay. Point essentially was 96, part-time and full-time in 2001. I made that, I was both pulled and pushed in terms of the decision. I was not feeling particularly satisfied with the work I was doing. I mean, it paid the bills, but I didn't have any kind of heart sense that that's what I was here to do.
And you're talking about as an engineer, is that correct?
As a technical manager, I was primarily working in information technology. Wasn't doing engineering per se, but I was managing projects, large-scale projects, implementing software.
Got it.
Either developing or implementing packages. So, I mean, it was okay. It just wasn't emotionally satisfying. Development came from the more explicit aspect of development came as I started this started this new business. Um, like I said, I was originally teaching a course called Avatar.
Again, what was the name of that?
Avatar.
Oh, Avatar.
Like
Okay.
move.
Okay.
Just like the movie. So the word avatar is a Sanskrit word meaning someone who's aware that he is essentially in God in the earth, who hasn't forgotten his true, authentic spiritual nature. So in the Avatar course, we bring you back into that experience of truly knowing who you are.
Now, was that a course that you made up yourself, or did you learn from someone else
No.
when you were teaching
No,
it?
I was trained and licensed to teach it.
Okay, got it. And then who was that under? What company or what people were that from? Did that come from?
The company is called Stars Edge. It's based in Orlando, Florida. And they offer a bunch of courses, including more advanced courses, but they license the basic course to people who are called Avatar Masters, who are trained to lead as individuals.
And how long of a program is that program?
Actually, the whole program lasts for 9 days. It's in 3 sections, 2 days, 4 days, and 3 days. So you can do it in pieces essentially, 4 days being the maximum. But overall, it takes 9 days. And the advanced courses take 9 days, 7 days, and actually 13 days for the wizards course, which is the most advanced course there.
And then how long does it take to be licensed to be able to teach those programs?
Well, you have to take the basic course, then you take the master's course, and at the master's course they decide whether they can license you right away. Most 90% of the time they want you to intern till they're satisfied you're competent to teach other people and transmit the material authentically and deeply. So it's an open question. You may be interning for 2, 3, 4 courses before you're licensed. So it can take another few months or another few years, depending on how much time you're willing to devote to that.
So it depends on the student, the student's capability.
Depends essentially on the student, exactly.
Got it.
There are courses being offered all over the world, literally, as well as large courses in Orlando. So you can take your pick of working with a qualified master who can help you through the process.
Got it. And so you said 2001 you were licensed to teach this program. Is that correct?
I was actually I did the master's course in '96, and by January of '97 I completed my licensing process.
Got it.
It took about nine months or so after I did the qualifying course.
So now with this in mind, Sunil, you were married at the time. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
So now, did that help improve your love life with your wife?
Yes, in a way. We talk about the Avatar course right now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a relationships course; it's an individual development course. But in the broader sense of being able to see another human more clearly and relate to them more deeply, just through a greater deal of love and compassion, the answer is yes. The actual work that I did was on soul dance, which is my own course and is on conscious relating. Um, that I designed and developed that after my divorce.
Got it, got it. Now again, what was the name of that course?
Soul dance.
Oh, soul dance. Okay, so soul dance is a derivative of avatar. Is that safe to say that?
No, it's not.
It's completely different.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So in 1997, you get certified, licensed to do avatar, and then what happens after that? So and then you're still doing your regular job, your managing job as well as part of this. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes. I'm trying to remember. In '96, I kind of went part-time. My regular job. That business was um, not quite actually coming down at that point. It was a small consulting software development firm in Scottsdale, actually Phoenix to be exact.
And that's when you decided to move as well, back in 1997.
No. So '95, I got a job with a Phoenix-based firm because they had a project in the Pittsburgh area. So our agreement was that I would work for them with the intention of moving to Phoenix. But originally, it took about a year that I worked on that project in the Pittsburgh area, and then they moved us here. My wife, Deborah, at that point had an opportunity for a startup company, with a startup company that she became a partner in. So those were the two things that moved us here. Then, '96, my company lost one of their major clients. I think the project was more or less completing, winding down. They haven't got any business to replace it. So I found myself with less and less work to do. So we kind of mutually agreed that I went part-time first, and then I left them. I did some consulting work for a while, my primary source of income. Then, if I remember correctly, so
We can barely hear you, Sunil. Can you speak into the mic?
okay.
That's better. Thanks.
Yeah, is this better?
Yep.
Okay. One second.
Okay, thanks.
How's this? Better?
Yes.
All right. So, so I consulted for a year and a half, and then in '98 I went back to full-time work with a company called J.D. Edwards in Denver, Colorado. So I traveled quite a bit, consulting software, and my job was consulting and implementation. So I was on the road quite a bit. When I left there in 2000, started with Deloitte, who was their consulting group worked with the company I was working with, so I knew these people. And in 2001, when 2000 and 2001, the whole market was crashing. So I found myself jobless one more time and decided it was time to become an entrepreneur.
Got it.
2 months of the life.
So in 2001, is that when you decided? Now, at which point did you start actually working with Tantra? Was that when you were working with Avatar, or even prior to?
I'm sorry, started working with what?
Tantra.
Tantra. Tantra came later, quite a bit later.
Okay, so you haven't worked with Tantra to this point, and do you even know what it is at this point, in 2001?
Yes, I knew what it was. I knew what it was for years. Then Deborah and I did a course together in 2000, probably, if I remember right. But I didn't really pursue that. I was doing I was working on spiritual development and transformation at an individual level, and Tantra at a relational level between two people. So not at that point. Tantric work began, I would, in 2008 or so.
So after 2008, then you start being more heavily involved with Tantra.
So I began then. So it kind of happened this way. So I was divorced in 2005, and my first thought was, there's got to be a better way to do relationships.
Right.
So before I get involved with anyone else, I need to know more about it. So you invoke something from the universe, it generally provides it. So I found myself taking a bunch of courses and, exploring relationships in different ways. And in 2008, January, I started dating again with someone I was introduced to. And it happened very quickly and very intensely. Lasted about 6-7 months, and when that ended, started looking for even deeper ways to relate and connect. So while I was looking around the internet, I found the Tantra meetup in Phoenix. So I started attending their meetups. Lawrence Bush, the guy who had founded that group, asked me first to be one of the assistant organizers. So I did that. And then a few months later, he decided that he'd done enough work with this and he wanted to hand the group over. If I would think.
Smart guy, right?
Said, all right. So since then, sometime late in 2008, maybe early 2009, I've been organizing this.
The Tantra meetups in Phoenix. Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, no, we can hear. So in 2009, you started managing or working with the Tantra group meetups in Phoenix. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Got it. So so what happens after that? What happens then?
Well, 2008, I believe it was. I can't quite remember, but this workshop started kind of flowing through me. I sat down and in a few days I had the outline written. Then I took some time to flesh it out and, add the details. But the sense of teaching about relationships, which I was a little hesitant to do because, I had a record of two relationships that ended, leaving aside earlier ones, but, the last few years. So I didn't exactly see myself as an expert. On the other hand, I've been studying relationships quite a bit, and sometimes we access higher levels of wisdom that are not just personal ego ideas about what's right and what's wrong. So the material for Soul Dance kind of just came through. I wrote it down, I expanded it, and I said, all right, let's offer it and see what happens. So I've been teaching it a bit in the last few years because I had a major corporate project that I was working on. But I'm back to teaching it now.
So let's go like this, because I want to go deeper into this soul dance, and I'm assuming that you're talking about soul dance. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and play some music by David Esther of the Ananda Rasa Band. And I'm assuming, I don't know if you know who these people are, but well, anyway, the name of the album is called Milani Dub Kirtan. It's actually a Jamaican style of kirtan, believe it or not. But I want to play this song called Sri Ram Jai Ram by the Ananda Rasa Kirtan Band. And I want to send out love, blessings, healings, angels, white love to your brother, Sunil, and then to all the people here on the phone lines and chat rooms, and to all the President of the United States and all his family and friends, and to all those running for office this year, and of course to all my family and friends, and to all our places of residence and vehicles that take care of us, to all the animals and plants and the kids on the planet, especially the ones in need and concern. Anybody else you want to add to that?
No, that's great.
Well, and of course to all the Tantra teachers out there, to all the teachers out there looking to make a difference in people's lives, just on a good, healthy level. And to everyone else in need and concern, and also to let's send out love, blessings, healings, angels of light and love to all those officers that got shot in Dallas, Texas, along all the families, and everyone else in need and concern. We will be back, and then when we come back, I want to go deeper into soul dance and really get to the crux of it and find out what soul dance really is all about. So we will be back. Sri Ram Jai Ram from by the Ananda Rasa Kirtan Band from the album Milani Dub Kirtan. And we're back. This is Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona with Pure Image Productions on Blog Talk Radio and freeconferencing.com. And now Ustream, establishing and maintaining right relationships with human value. For those of you that are watching the live video version of this on Ustream, I put the album up so you can see see the cover of it and the back side of it as well. Tonight, we're doing Andrew Aloha Live. We're talking with Sunil Ahuja in soul dance, and he's all the way out of Scottsdale. He grew up in Calcutta. His father was a businessman, and he's got a brother and a sister. Two brothers, is that correct, Sunil? Or is it brother and a no, brother and another one? So anyhow, yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. So you have a brother and a sister. You grew up doing working with engineering and business, and you came here to the States years ago, and then you were married to a woman out of Massachusetts, and in that process, you guys lived in Pittsburgh for several years, and then decided, well, why are we here? Because it's too cold. There's too much cold weather here. So you decided you were going to relocate, and you did. You were able to relocate through a company that you were working with, and in the meantime, before you relocated, I'm assuming before, you did a program called Avatar, working on personal development skills. Is that correct? Is that kind of what that's all about?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you decided to come out to the States and then or to Arizona, and with a certification of being and licensed to teach that program. And then you've been working here in the Scottsdale area for a number of years. You were doing working with some company, and then there was a big crash, technology crash back in 2001, is what I hear you saying. And then you started to switch gears from managing software and technology to managing people. So you came across a meetup program in the Phoenix area, a Tantra meetup program, and then all of a sudden you were in charge of it somehow or another. And so then all of a sudden this creative program called Soul Dance starts building up inside of you. And so I guess that's what we want to know next, Sunil. What this soul dance is all about? What inspired you to get this up? What's its main intention? What's its intentions? What's its goals? What's its mission, and so forth. So go ahead whenever you're ready.
So the intention of the soul dance workshop is to allow people to see and integrate a new way of thinking about relationships, a new way of being in relationships. So let me elaborate. Mostly we have relationships out of the common cultural viewpoint, that we find this perfect partner who satisfies all our needs. We satisfy all of those, and we live happily ever after in some kind of fairy tale, Walt Disney, Cinderella, Snow White, whatever way of being. And it never happens that way. It's pretty clear that we have a real problem in our romantic relationships, given, a 50% divorce rate, and maybe most of the marriages, the other 50%, the ones that stay married, are not necessarily happy. My roommate is Russian, and she came across this joke in Russian, which translate well as it probably sounds in that language, but I think you got the gist. It was something like, so-and-so had 2 bad marriages, and his first wife left him. So in other words, you can have the You can have a relationship with the second one, but it's still a bad relationship. So that is what kind of both the need to look at something deeper. What's a different way to relate? And I saw that what I call the ego dance. The dance being a metaphor for a relationship, that we're really in a dance, moving back and forth in a variety of ways. And the ego dance is something where you have an ideal that's not very conscious, it's mostly subconscious, and you look for a partner that fits that particular model so that so when you find someone who comes close, you generally have the relationship, most likely, you probably get married, and then you discover they don't live up to the ideal, and things start to break apart. So when I looked at, okay, what's beyond that, and that's what the whole course is about, we can get into that more deeply, but it's a process of moving past the ideal, so that you are seeing and connecting with someone without the filter. Actual human beings, human souls are pretty fascinating in their own right. I'm not judging them as being a good fit or a bad fit, right or wrong, good or bad. Whatever criteria you want. As long as you're filtering how you look, you can't really see the person. You're only seeing them against some kind of standard that exists in your mind. So the soul dance is when you're really dancing with someone. I want to say a little more about that in a moment.
So let me ask you this. So are you saying that in soul dance you're being transparent in the relationship or relationships that you're working with or being with or relating with, and that you're also setting up a safe environment so that you can explore different possibilities? Is that what I hear you saying?
That's a part of it, yes. Yeah.
So go ahead.
So, okay, so that, I'll go into each thing depth a little more, but there is the discovery that what as humans we think we want in a relationship is not necessarily what our souls want. So while we want kind of need fulfillment and safety, the soul itself is incarnating for purpose of spiritual evolution and growth. So coming to the planet is all about situations in which you develop. And our relationships, intimate relationships, are the ones where we have the most opportunities to develop, so they can often provide the most challenge. So the first of what I call the 3 C's of relationship is consciousness, and it's about becoming conscious that you're actually in it to grow, and your partner is going to, one way or the other, reflect the areas you need to grow in. You're following me? So
I'm hearing you. Yeah. So when you're involved in a relationship on an intimate level, and that type of relationship is typically, I'm hearing you say, is the one of the biggest ways, I'm not sure if it's the best way, but one of the biggest ways of learning and growing in a relationship. But so you're working on a soul level rather than on an ego level in terms of development, the development process, and that's what I hear you saying.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that that's what the soul's going to make happen anyway. So you can kind of like the process, surrender to it, or you can apply your human criteria, which case you don't have a very happy relationship.
Yeah, a lot of the times when the ego is fighting the soul, in fact, all the time, I would say, when the ego is fighting the soul in relationships, then the ego is always going to lose and he's never going to be happy, period. So that's what I hear you saying.
Yeah. Because then the differences become conflicts rather than reflections.
Got it. And so as long as the ego surrenders to the soul and is in harmony with the soul, then the ego will always be happy. That's what I hear you saying as well.
Yeah, I mean the ego will do the ego thing, but as we use the relation to transcend the ego, then when somebody points out something in you that they don't like, you can look at it and say, all right, where's my area of growth? Where am I stuck on something, on some kind of identity that's not truly me? I mean, the ego believes it is me, but it's not. And the process of growth is letting go of all these beliefs we have about ourselves to realizing ourselves more and more as this open, evolving being that's not tied down to some limitation that we imagine ourselves to be. And intimate relationships always bring those things up, wherever our partner feels dissatisfied with us. So we can fight about that, or we can use the reflection to work on and then ultimately release something that we no longer need to hold on to.
So again, let me ask you this, Sunil. What inspired you to put this soul dance program together?
I think the perceived need, both in my own relationships and all the ones I was dealing with for a different paradigm. I was coaching by then. I was doing developmental coaching, and we can talk about that in a little while. But even though my focus originally was, work and purpose and individual growth, what inevitably came up were people's relationships. I mean, they're so central to who we are that's what my clients wanted to talk about. So, was studying that for myself, looking for a deeper, better way to relate. The two came together, and in my asking questions and answering questions, the workshop was inspired. Like I said, it kind of came through.
So you were consulting or counseling or coaching people on a one-to-one basis, and then all of a sudden questions about relationships kept coming up. So, and you're saying because of this, then you decided the soul dance, or actually this, I don't even know that you decided it. Maybe your soul may have decided it. Who knows? But either way, it was decided that the soul dance needs to emerge, and so what was the process for that? How did that unfold? What was that like for you?
I think one morning I had this urge to do and teach a workshop on relationships, and my first reaction was, I don't really want to do that on an individual basis. But then it was kind of insistent, whatever was passing that information to me. So I sat down with a pad and I started writing. And like I said, the outline came through pretty quickly. And, then I hashed it out after that.
Got it. And so what are the basic, I guess what's the foundation for soul dance? How many, I mean, how many workshops have you done so far since this came about? A few?
Yeah, 15, 16, maybe more. About, all told, something average, 5, 6 workshops. I mean, fluctuated a bit.
And then, and how many people were in this group? About 15, 20, or 10 or so per group on average?
Could you repeat the question?
How many, when you did these workshops, about how many on average were attending these workshops?
7 or 8.
7 or 8 on average. And so what has been some of the outcomes of these workshops from these people that I don't know if you ever got a chance to talk to them and say, well, what did you learn from this, or what did you get from this? What was the biggest things that came out of this?
In terms of what
accomplishment or progress or insight or experience or whatever.
all of that. I've got a page full of testimonials. So I have one here where she talks about that her relationship was like a puzzle where pieces didn't fit, and she says it looked right but felt tense and wrong, and now the pieces fit harmoniously right where they belong. So that's one. And then a couple talk about finding a bunch of new tools, and they specifically talk about different things that I have in the course, including the whole idea of developmental models, and then 3 stages of relationship, and seeing the limitations of the first 2 stages. I have a psychiatrist who talks about all the new concepts that he learned, so on and so forth. I guess the best one I heard was from a close friend of mine who's actually taken the workshop 3 times, and wants to start co-teaching with me and then do it herself. The key thing she said was that the hole that she always felt in her heart, like something was missing, that went away. And she was divorced at the time and got remarried since, and is really able to continue to create this new relationship out of those principles and so on.
So people are able to take the tools that you're giving them and utilize them in other relationships or new relationships or existing relationships, and use them to enhance those relationships. Is that what I hear you saying?
Absolutely. Whether they create, whether they attract or create new ones. 2 more examples. Another couple from New River on the way to Flagstaff. They'd been married for 38 years at that point. And he says, in the afterglow of that experience, we talk to each other like never before in our 38 years of marriage.
Wow.
In short, the value of the workshop is far beyond the money invested. All I can say is thank you. That was one. I forget what the other one was. Oh, yes. Another close friend of mine who have this, petite type of guy she found attractive was generally someone tall, moody, professor, intellectual, and a professor type. Um, Started going out with a guy who was short, heavy set, um, and a plumber. So she says, I really like him, but he's not my type. So coaching was, would you please throw your list away? And then they got married. And I talked to them and he said, but as far as I know, they're still doing great. So that gives you some idea of what the kind of impact does.
So we still got about 20 minutes left. So I guess, can you give us like a visual of what the soul dance workshop looks like? How do you start? What do you do in between, and how do you finish? Type of thing.
Okay. I mean, the workshop consists of, like I pointed out in the beginning, we're going to be doing three things. So I will be presenting the material. We're going to be talking and sharing about it, and then we're going to do a bunch of exercises, and we're going to do some guided meditation. So that's broadly what it looks like. We start with going through all the conventional ideas of relationship and pointing out, both on a group and individual basis, where these ideas come from. That they're basically in our subconscious, in the culture, through our particular life experience, but they're never quite what will really provide you with a satisfying relationship. Then we talk about various ways to deeply understand ourselves and relationship and how they work. So for there was a bunch of material, but two of the critical things is the tantric perspective on what's masculine, what's feminine, what creates sexual polarity. So moving beyond our traditional, male-dominant, patriarchal kind of culture to, the 50-50, everything's equal, which creates great friendships but loses sexual polarity, to the tantric perspective, which actually recreates a sexual polarity. What's masculine, what's feminine, how do they connect? The other big thing we work with is the idea of psychological, spiritual, emotional, intellectual development. The notion that we actually develop in distinct stages. It's like a step function rather than a straight line. We all understand that we develop and grow, but how and at what levels. And then you understand that if you're widely separated in the levels of your development, it's very hard to relate, because people at the lower level can't really get people at a higher level. There's more to say about this, but briefly, that's some of the material. And I bring it to the conclusion is in realizing what I call the three C's. I talked about consciousness earlier, is about mutual growth, and then connection, which is really the tantric piece about how do you connect deeply and energetically, and then commitment, which is not about staying together, but about recognizing each other's purpose of being in the world. And that our job is to help the other fulfill that purpose and support that, rather than what we often do, is get in the way of that purpose. Okay, does that give you an answer?
and that's giving me a visual on what to expect in terms of people doing this workshop. And so now, how long is this workshop? How many days, or how many hours, or how long does this last? Is it just a one day type of thing?
Evening, Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday all day.
Oh, really? So, and is there like a lot of exercises where you're doing touch or what's it called? Just connecting with each other and stuff like that as well?
Yes, not very much on the touch, but a lot of exercises, a lot of meditation, communication and talking for a great deal, and and then basic tantric exercises like eye gazing, heart to heart connecting. I'm playing with adding some more in there. I had this interesting experience. Mentioned my roommate who's Russian, and she's very interested in. She's learning ballroom dancing at a studio called the Imperial Dance Studio here in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
So she asked me to come and watch her. She's done soul dance, so she wanted me to something about the masculine feminine polarity, which sort of shows up on the dance floor in a much more body-centered way than a lot of my relationship, which is communication, talk at a mental, emotional level. But she was bringing the body more into it, and just watching the instructor lead her in a way that was very integral. And it's hard to again put it in words because that's kind of why I went to see it. But the surrendering into the flow is real soul dance. Like there's a mutual surrender to the music and to each other. And that's probably the best way I can
describe soul dance. Is literally a physical dance, a ballroom dance. But isn't that the truth? Back in the day, years ago, 60s, 40s, 20s, when they had a dance in those days, it was. I think a lot of it was kind of like the Sufi dance that they do. I don't know if you've ever been to a Sufi dance. One of the most amazing Sufi dances that I ever went to was in Hawaii, believe it or not. And you can just feel the energy, the electricity, as these people were doing this dance, and all in unison, and it was just like amazing, and you could just feel the connection going on, and even so, in ballroom dance and some of these older dances, it's the same thing. People were actually connecting with each other, and eye gazing there and the ballroom dancing, all kinds of stuff. Where you can just feel the electricity. Where in this day and age, the dancing, I don't know. I guess they still connect in a way, wherever you go in some of these places, but it's just it doesn't seem the same like it used to be back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting it. That's Sufi dance, right?
Yeah. Have you ever been to one of those?
I haven't. I've been invited several times, and I've never made it for one reason or the other. But I know what it is in principle. The Sufis use dance the way we Hindus use meditation. Movement rather than stillness. Mm-hmm. But that's exactly right. You're connecting to your soul, to spirit, through that movement. And in the case of ballroom, Sufis kind of both sort of at the individual level and at the group level. And here we're talking more about the couple, the twosome, the dyad rather than more, and the male-female dyad. But that's exactly right, that in that synchronization, harmonization, there's a connection to spirit in a very interesting way.
Yeah.
And the whole point of soul dance is to use, which is the basic tantric perspective, is that you use the relationship to connect into your higher self, rather than get stuck in the conflict of the lower self.
So, and I've been to about 3 or 4 Sufi dances actually, and like I said, the one that was most amazing and just very powerful was the one in Hawaii. I went to one time, and I was just blown away. So yeah, we got about 13 minutes left. Sunil, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you want to put out there? But when's your next workshop going to be?
It will be the last weekend of August, which is, I will give you the dates in a second. Let's see what the calendar says. August 26th, 27th, and 28th.
Okay, and how much are you charging for those programs?
The early registration fee is $225, $227 to be exact, and up through a week before the course starts.
Right.
That's for singles, and for a couple it would be $407.
Got it. And then, and again, it's going to be Friday night and then Saturday and Sunday all day.
Actually, this particular, that's my general outline, but in this location, primarily because they have something else booked on Sunday mornings, I'm going to go a little longer on Friday night, a little longer on Saturday evening, and then do half a day on Sunday.
Got it. So, and I don't know what else. If people want to get a hold of you, and this is going to be in the Scottsdale area. The next one.
Yeah, it's on Cactus and 64th. I think you've been to the location, so it'll be in the Scottsdale area. And how people can get hold of me is either go to my website www.integral.transformation.com, or they can email me at either Sunil, SUNIL, at integral-transformation.com, or phone me at 480-314-9281.
Okay, good. So, and I do want to give a big Aloha shout. Now, we have a caller here, area code 310, and also area code 630. I don't know if there's any questions you want to ask, but either you can raise your hand, or if you just want to go ahead and shout it out, we'll go with that. So, area code 310, do you have any questions? Okay, so I guess that person doesn't. So anything else that we haven't talked about that you want to put out there, Sunil?
Just the idea, and this is more my coaching work than the coursework. The thing I'm kind of an advocate for is the idea of development, that people actually grow, and that our understanding of growth, and that people are at different stages of growth, is an understanding I'd like to promote, all over the world, or at least in this country, because on one level things it would make us much more tolerant of where somebody else is, rather than thinking that they're crazy. My coaching focuses on that work in accelerating growth, because the more you develop, the greater is your capacity to function in life. So I want to, touch briefly on that. How I coach is by assessing and understanding where somebody is developmentally, and then helping them to shift and grow in a way that they can solve their problems from a higher level of consciousness. I think Einstein said you can't solve a problem at the level of consciousness you first created it. So moving to, a higher level of capacity is what helps you solve life's problems. There's a lot of more complex theory in this, so I'm expressing it as simply as possible. My roommate Anna and I are also working on developing a development focused community so that there's a lot of support and help available. So if anybody is interested in that, they should contact me at any of the addresses I just gave you, individual work or group work.
Awesome, awesome. And I want to thank you, Sunil, for stopping by and sharing your valuable information. And hopefully, lots of people will show up for your workshop in August, and go from there. So, I want to thank all of you for stopping by. Have a God-Goddess week. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Aloha.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay. You still there?
Hi, yeah.
Okay, so, hang on a second. You still had, so we had some people come through and, listen, so that was good. And nobody asked questions, but they pretty much listened to the whole show. So I don't know if you knew these people or not, but
Right.
they were on for most of the show. And that's fun, so. So do you want me to put a blast out for? Oh, you didn't send that flyer, did you? You were supposed to send me that flyer.
I did send it to you.
You did? Okay. I haven't gone into my email today. I don't think so. I don't really know.
It's probably in there. Sent it late yesterday.
Yeah. Do you want me to go blast that out for you?
Yeah, please do. That would be great. You can blast that out, and then once you send me all the details after you check out the recording, send it to me. I'll do the same. I'll blast.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll put this on YouTube. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that tonight or tomorrow or the next day. Within the next.
No rush.
But
there'll be a couple of before my email's ready to go out. But
when do your emails usually go out?
Once a month. I'm trying to pick it up to about twice a month.
Oh yeah.
But there's no date. It's generally about mid-month, so we're kind of there. If you get it to me in the next couple of days, I'll be formulating and phrasing it. And,
okay. I'll do that. Let's do that. Let's make sure I get this up and going to you and send you all the links and all the information, so that way you can do whatever you want out there. And so forth. So go from there. Now, let's see. Somehow I just get the feeling that maybe you and I can collaborate and do a workshop together. And I'm not sure that you want to. But in the format, the way I do my presentations, we could bring you in easily, and you could be part of the workshop as well. And we just have to figure out how much you would want to do, and then how you would want to set it up. And the program that I do is a 12-hour program. It'd be a 2-day intensive. And I don't know, maybe this could be a whole week program. I'm not sure, but I guess we can mull it over. And you know what? The best time to do this, if you wanted to do this, would be in October.
Okay. So is this that 90-day Ascension program?
Yeah. Have you read the book yet?
No, it's on my shelf, or not on my shelf, right by my recliner, but I've got a whole pack of books.
Well, actually, the people that have already read it, number one, it's an easy read, and they were, I guess, pretty engrossed in it, so that they read it right away. So,
Okay.
and I'm thinking, whatever. I would suggest that you go ahead and read it, and I don't think it would take. I think it'd probably take a day, maybe 2 days to read it.
I'll move it up the pile. I find I collect books faster than I can read them.
Yeah, I hear you. So what I think, let me see, we're in July right now, August, September, October. If we did this workshop in mid-October, I think that would be ideal, and that's usually a good time to do workshops for the year, October and March. And if we were to get this together and get it up and going and start marketing and selling it, then I think we would probably do well. And I don't know if you want to do it at your place where you're at or somewhere else, but we can work with that and then go from there. And I don't know if what's that?
Let me take a look at your book. I've got two other people also wanting to do collaborative stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I also want to squeeze in my avatar course, probably September through November. Doesn't mean I can't do more than one thing. But, everything is going to become a bit of a squeeze.
Well,
first I read your book.
What do these other people want to teach? What do they want to put out there?
Well, Anna and I are collaborating on creating a developmental community. So there'll be trainings that are part of that, about the whole sense of what's development about and specific areas of development. And then a friend of mine, John Smith, who you may or may not have met, has his own process